Hey guys, Brian Connolly here, still with you on this journey about prayer and setting foundations and getting into, hopefully today, actually getting you activated more in prayer than just simply setting a foundation. But we are going to continue to jump off of what it is that we've been talking about the last few weeks and why it's important to know God the right way and just how that really is the gateway, the entryway into developing a healthy prayer life. Because you're not going to want to be spending a whole lot of time with somebody you don't know. And Jesus made it very clear. It's not that God is no longer a mystery. Jesus has come out like God is. And I want to talk to you about that today, because one of my favorite quotes is from a man by the name of A.W. Tozer. And he said this, and it's one of the strongest things I've ever heard anybody say. He said, "The most important thing about you and me is what we think about when we think about God." So what he's saying is the most important thought you and I will ever have is the thought we think about when it is that we think about God. And here's why I believe that's so important. Is there's this conversation that Jesus has with Philip, and you can hear their hearts really, both of their hearts really come out in this conversation. It's found in John chapter 14, and Philip comes to Jesus. Now we got to understand that they've been walking with him now for years. They've seen signs, they've seen wonders, they've seen things that have testified. He says, if you don't want to believe the things I say, then believe the things that I do. For my works and the things I do testify about who I am. Wisdom is vindicated by her deeds. They have the revelation that Peter gets in Matthew 16 when he says, who do you guys say that I am? So they've had these glimpses, and they're starting to understand maybe he really is the one that we've been waiting for. And Philip says this to Jesus. He says, show us the Father and it's enough for us. And what you're hearing is this heart cry within each, I believe in every single individual there, that all of creation and all people are asking and wanting to see who the Father is, and to have a glimpse of that more than anything else is what satisfies the human heart. Knowing who God is and all the reasons why Jesus came, whether it was to destroy the works of the devil or to testify to the truth or to declare the kingdom or to seek and save that which was lost. He lists all these reasons why he came, but one of the greatest reasons why he came was to put a face on God, was to put flesh on the Word that was from the beginning. So Colossians 1:15 says it this way, that Jesus is the image of the invisible God. Hebrews 1 says it like this in verse 2, that he's the exact representation of the Father's nature. So here's how Jesus answers Philip's question. He says, and I believe that if we were humble, we would hear Jesus even ask this to the church today. Philip, have I been with you this long and you still don't know me? If you've seen me, you've seen the Father. And so that's really what I want to drive home today with you in regards to your prayer life is simply this, is sometimes prayer is as simple as you getting alone and thinking about who God is. Letting your mind drift to what you already know to be true about who the Father is through what Jesus revealed. Sometimes all I do, guys, is when I get alone is I imagine and I think about everything Jesus did, everything Jesus said, what the cross accomplished, and I just let my mind go to this place of meditation. And sometimes there's this smile that comes over my face that can't be erased, because I'm just sitting there, just not only recalling the testimonies and things that God has done, but I sit there and I'm like, God, what did you really reveal about yourself through your Son? What does it mean that you really love me? What does it mean that you approve of me? What does it mean that you accept me? What does it mean that I can come before you now? What does it mean that you've made me righteous and holy and all that stuff? So this is what the Bible says in Philippians 4 verse 8. It talks about dwelling on things that are honorable, things that are truthful, things that are lovely, of good repute. And I just want to encourage you. Here's all I want you to do with what I'm saying here with this video today. Take what you know about God. The most important thing you think about is what you think about when you think about him. Why? Because so many people are relating to the wrong God in the wrong way. And God doesn't want to be a mystery. Jesus comes out like the Father is. So go get alone, and just in your alone time, just begin to think about who he is, and watch that become bigger, and watch that build faith, because faith is born out of when you know him and when you know the will of God. So just spend time over this next week meditating on him, what he said, who he is, and then next week we're going to connect even more about what do you do after this foundation, like after we're thinking correctly about God, where do I go from here, and what does it mean to actually start praying in a way where I know my prayers are being answered, and I know that God is for me, and I actually know his will because I'm being transformed by the renewing of my mind. So bless you guys, and we will talk to you next week. Love you. Talk to you soon.